Jim, Zoom. I'm not expecting Pat at all. Angie, I'm expecting. I didn't hear from her. She's usually pretty good at letting me know.
All right, it's you.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Jim.
Yeah.
Saying I haven't turned the heat up yet.
I know, that's why I came up to test the thing and I was chilly, so I forgot my sweater, so I have my raincoat on. It's,
Go all in, that's what
Yeah.
I say here. Sorry. It's all good. Okay, we've got 4 members and, yeah,
All right, good evening, everyone. We'll call the capital improvement planning committee on October 22nd, 2025 to order. Are there any adjustments to the agenda? Additions or deletions or suggestions?
No.
All
Good
right,
job, no?
public comment. Doesn't appear to be anyone from the public here this evening. Public hearing, review presentation and appoint presenter.
so Lisa worked on this today. When you pull it up.
For the noise.
Good to have.
The cool picture, yeah.
Build a new water tower.
We do. Can you see it, Jim?
It's a beauty.
That's
It
like,
I saw it live and in person on the way to the transfer station last weekend.
Oh, nice.
yeah. It's tall.
Well, somehow I
So-
thought it was gonna be one of those big things on the top of a on the top of a tower to give you a water pressure head, but I guess they do it differently now.
Well, that was an option and it was discussed and it was very expensive.
Yeah, so I guess pumps are cheaper than building up.
Yep, especially because we're 96 feet above sea level.
Hmm.
We were gonna have to be 400 feet tall.
Wow.
I think people
Mhm.
who are.
No.
Well, that's what well,
That's a lot of
never really
building.
traced my memory, so maybe exaggerated it, but I remember the
Good.
board being like, no, that's not feasible.
You get 15 PSI for every 34 feet. Well, I guess, yeah, if you want 100 PSI,
Do the
you'll have
math,
to
yeah.
go 300 feet.
Yeah,
Never mind.
yeah. So, yeah, plan B.
Yeah,
So it gets less exciting. This is the second slide. And
That actually looks pretty clear.
it really does.
I was gonna say, I've never seen it so well before. I didn't wanna like. I'm sorry. Sorry.
That looks pretty
Never
good.
seen it so well, never, yeah.
Well, Lisa worked at it. I had just like put the whole thing in there and it was teeny, teeny, tiny.
It's sharp, it's like when the ophthalmologist said
So-
one
Yeah,
or
yeah,
two.
exactly.
So
I
what
don't know, you-
Lisa did today was break it into
Beautiful.
3. So I'm going through real quick, but it'll be the first 3 slides.
Right, so there's 2 years, 2 years, and 2 years, so that you can see keeping the part on the left,
Right.
and then the years change, and then you see the notes at the end, so.
Well, just a question, because will it be clear? Whoever's here from the library now, the book shed and the carpet replacement, say fiscal year project 26, which is 25, 26, or in that, now they're one's done and one's in progress.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep, so those are the things that are happening in this fiscal year.
Yes.
So we've got the 2 water projects are happening now, the fire department.
let's say the truck is in 27, Public Works.
Yeah.
Got it, okay.
The public safety, the fire station and the garage are actually happening
November?
March, yeah, so.
So
they're
it's in
gonna
this
be
year.
This fiscal
Yeah.
year. We might want to adjust that.
I honestly thought that's what it meant because the way you have like 1 year. So I thought it meant 26 would be 25, 26, and I thought
Oh, I see, yep,
That's
yeah,
what I-
27
too.
was
yeah,
26,
yep, you're right,
27.
you're right,
So I thought you
Right.
did mean that it
Yeah,
was
I
in 2
did.
fiscal years.
I did.
There you
Okay.
go,
There we go.
brilliant.
Cause I'm finding things on here like
Oh, you can keep looking, you always meant.
Yeah,
just-
like, I don't like the way the funds are. I should have separated the public works, the garage and the fire station into that North Station Building Replacement Reserve Fund. That's actually where the money's coming from. And not under the highway fund and the general fund. And I should have done the listers reappraisal. There's a reappraisal fund. And I don't know why I didn't,
And that way it would. match up.
Things you work on every day, maybe?
So, and then it
you
would,
know.
And the
'cause
more you look at things, the more.
it would correlate to what the funds actually are.
You know, those are the reserve fund balances as of today. So, you know, the library stuff is coming out of the library capital fund, not the library fund. The North Station renovation is for the garage and the station and, you know, the water reserve, the reappraisal is coming out, not of the general fund. So I think it's probably too late to change all that now unless you really want me to. Or I can change it for next year.
I mean, I think we're doing pretty well for a year two. We're gonna keep.
Yeah, it's just something I noticed in the last week. I'm like, hey, what?
Just someplace to note it so that we remember.
Yeah.
You'll remember, but
I'll remember, because it's bugging me every time I look at
yeah,
it.
just because, you know, I don't know, the question, Mike, what do all these different funds means to people? Do they really, does the community really care as long as it isn't coming out of their tax, a new tax? Does it matter? Because if it did, maybe I'd want to
Some
know
of it
that,
comes out of their taxes.
but that's marked.
Well, that would be like debt. I mean,
Yeah, that'd
debt
be marked,
raising-
that'd be marked, but otherwise, when
raising
it says
taxes.
reserve fund, I don't think that the detail needs to be exactly what that
Mm.
necessarily means or how you put it together, as long as it's not, as long as there are funds to pay for it, am I making any sense? No.
Do we need to take up a collection for the fire station fund?
Pretty much
That's
thinking that.
running The deficit?
So how the auditor and I have talked about doing that project up to the north is the money is right now is all in the North Station renovation fund, so we're gonna pay it out of there. But there's a $10,000 appropriation that goes to the fire station fund. So of which they've received their first quarter, so they're going to get $7,500. So by June 30th, that'll be zero.
It's a
So,
municipal, finance.
and then we're just gonna. We know that the fire station is probably gonna be 2/3 and the garage is gonna be 1/3 of the total. And then we're gonna divide it out that way, and allocate it to. So the
that'll be-
auditor and I have it figured out, and that's just, and maybe it's too confusing, maybe I should just take it out of there.
Someone's gonna ask a question what that really.
Right,
would.
yeah,
I would take it out, I think it's that versus Vermont Community Foundation, then it says. It says out of June 30th, 2025.
because that's the foundation fund, that's not, I don't have access to that.
Oh.
I have access to it, but they only give you statements every 3 months.
Okay, I didn't know if that was a footnote for the whole or
No,
just that one.
just the one. I
Yeah.
could put capital reserve fund balances as of whatever the date is.
What is the Vermont Community Foundation money for?
That's the money that was set aside to care for this
This
building.
one, okay.
Yep, and it's in the community foundation. It's a foundation and they take care of it and they invest it and we only can take
Yeah,
out
well,
5%.
That organization, that's why
Yeah,
Dan Smith is the director. I was wondering what's.
yeah.
Okay.
So Courtney Fisher put in, I don't know how much he put in and it's
300,000.
300,000 and it's gone to that and it's set up so that it will be there to always care for this building. Yeah,
Hmm.
yep.
Are
We're
you-
only allowed to spend so much.
We can only take out 5% a year and
Right.
we have to match it. Town has to match it.
Well, the auditor has told you stories of towns where someone has done that and in 20 years, there's more money in there than they can
That
ever
they'll
spend.
ever use.
Because it
That's
just,
the problem.
yeah.
Who sets the requirements of 5%, 5% a year? Was
I
that
don't know
part
if
of the,
it was how it was set up or if it's their rules, the
I
foundation
think
rules.
it's how it's, I think it's how it's set up.
Who made the
I have a,
donation?
Courtney Fisher.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I have a
Yeah.
foundation, it's not that big, but. So, I don't know.
But it made a lot of money last year. It
Yeah.
did really well.
Good job.
They're a good investment.
I didn't, it's not me, but yeah,
One of the rules
did
up
pretty
is
well.
that, you know, you're always gonna get the blame, so when credit is theirs, you should take it.
I really had nothing to do with it. so.
You get to report it.
Yeah.
We should go back to your original question. Can you flip back to the other
Yep.
pages, please?
Yeah, do we want to like go through this slide by slide before we dive into it? So this
Yeah,
is, this is the title. And then we have 3 slides breaking out the 6-year plan, 2 years at a time. So 25, 26, 28, 29, 3031.
Okay, but where's 25? It's sorry, it says 26. Oh, I see your
So-
menu thing. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry,
it's
sorry,
like
sorry, I
the-
forgot that.
so-
One page at a time.
Yeah, so the fiscal years columns are all
Right,
the
I
way
see it.
to the
And the
right.
goldenrod again are projects that were
Prior
already.
to CIP.
That's nice.
So those four were in the works prior to us
Okay.
forming, and all the notes aren't there, I see.
No, not all. Oh, they're a little bit cut off.
Oh, maybe not, maybe maybe they're other.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
they're
not
other.
capitalized. Yeah. So and then, so we've got 3 pages of the plan.
Okay, wait.
And I took out the pilots.
Thank you.
Yep, so that's gone.
And this is just a summary.
And the -15 is
That's right, can you
because
go
of
back?
The radar sign.
Yeah.
Yep.
But where, go ahead.
And they want to keep that in there. The select board decided the other night, they're still deciding on what ones to go with and what the cost is gonna be. It's probably gonna be under 10,000, so it's gonna fall off the plan, but they wanted to keep it there for now until they know for sure.
I just missed where it showed up on the plan itself, but it
It
didn't.
doesn't,
Oh, okay.
does it, Lisa?
Yeah,
Oh,
it did.
oh,
It
okay.
did.
'Cause
It's
otherwise
up
you
there.
can't track it.
Under this public
Select board, I
safety,
see it
select
first,
board
yeah,
village
right
radar
after.
sign.
Thank you, okay. And then someone's gonna say what the -15 is for, and someone will say, that's because
Yeah, because we don't have any reserves or it wasn't budgeted.
it's gonna come out of. the-
It's gotta come out of
the select
somewhere, but
board,
it's not, right now, it's not budgeted and it's not coming out of the reserve fund, so.
The Vermont Community Foundation, the 7,500, that's the 26 and then 30, oh, I see 35 and then 30.
So that's we figure 5% is about $35,000 a year we
Yeah.
can take out,
Yep.
and that's, the match to
Yep.
what we're gonna spend, so I think the floors are fiscal year 2026, which are 15,000. So half will come from the foundation and half will come
Yeah,
from the reserves.
Thank you.
The good thing about the foundation is it incentivizes the community hall committee to do something every year.
Mhm.
So, yeah,
To plan for.
yeah,
Because if you don't take it one year, you can't take it the next year. You can't take
You can't.
10%. No, you're just allowed 5% when once a year.
But you have to be ready to match,
mhm.
right?
Yeah.
You gotta have some plan to,
You have to have some plan to have the
Raise the
money to
funds.
match it. So if you have $100,000 roof, you gotta repair and you can only take 35, you gotta figure out where you're gonna get that other 65.
Which is
So-
why they have a 50-year plan. The subcommittee, when we were trying to decide if this was a viable option for the town, wanted to really think it out. So they've done all that legwork. Okay, so then we go to the annual budget.
Yeah, and this one, we removed the Pilots point.
Great.
It's the only difference here.
Um, for the library under the outdoor refresh 1. Betsy is gonna be representing the library. I'm not here that day. And I will give her a briefing. That's a pretty general discussion about ways that we can connect all the desperate parts of the exterior of the library to make it
Mhm.
a more welcoming place for sitting and reading and just community engagement.
there's a typo on that item too.
Yeah, I
Higher
see it.
landscape architect.
Yep, Nini,
The narrative.
or it could be cheaper if it was a landscape.
Save a letter, save a vowel.
You can fix it right in there.
Don't have to buy a vowel.
I think you can.
Oops, well,
No,
maybe
it's
not,
probably in.
some presentation. mode, but-
Well,
Okay, this is the next one. Were you done with the last?
So this
I'm
is-
sorry, can you go back to the other one just
Yep.
a second? I'm wondering if it's worthwhile, this is a suggestion and I'm not wedded to it, but it would make sense to maybe have it someplace else, but to indicate that there's no general fund supported projects.
These are all coming, yeah, it doesn't,
Meaning, the select board isn't asking for additional money for these. Correct?
they're not only the 15,000 where they have to find funds somewhere. That's it. It's a good point. So I kept kind of get to the, when do you say that?
So I think the next slide says that.
Okay.
The next slide shows you what is included in the budget to go towards capital, and it's 79,000. So 19,000 a year goes for the community hall. into their reserve fund. The listers are bumping, cause we have to go to a 6-year reappraisal now, so they're bumping that from 15,000 to 25,000. In order to save enough every 6 years for a $200,000 reappraisal. The Public Works puts $35,000 into the capital equipment reserve fund every year from the budget. That's interesting about the restoration fund.
Yeah, I looked at that too, but I think you have to kind of guess how much is gonna come in, and that's probably about right.
What are you looking at?
But it's 15,000, it's
rest are-
25,000.
And well, with this 27, 28, 29, 30, like, we're not putting that in there. The restoration fund is funded by, people when they pay their land record recording fees. But you kind of have to estimate how much you think you'll come in. That's what I assumed that meant.
So this was supposed to be what is budgeted. What goes into the operating budget for to go towards the capital budget? That $5,000 is revenue. That doesn't come as a transfer,
So
so
maybe it
that should be
should-
zero.
I did the same thing. I hesitated over it and I thought, well, all the others are amounts that they're set aside.
Yeah,
But you're thinking how much is actually gonna be
Which is
raised by taxes
different.
versus, okay,
from the other.
yeah.
I'm a pretty simple person. When I'm sitting in an audience looking at big things like this, I'll get lost in the detail. But I think that just from my opinion, the more you say that this is the projects for 26, 27 or however many years out are completely funded by reserves, I mean, you can't say that enough, I think. Because that's that's part of the message.
I believe that, I mean, I think it's select board, that's what.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, there's a lot of detail here, which is really
You
awesome,
know, we're
but
not raising your taxes to do.
We're not raising your
Yeah, because
taxes.
it's on, it's already voted on.
yeah, this
Not
is,
raising taxes to.
we're doing this
do-
with just,
Do any of these
right,
projects.
that's the message, I think. Right.
It's
Well,
all money that's been.
Hold
set
on a sec.
aside.
Cause
The owl
I-
speaking.
my recollection on the bond for the fire department and the garage was that it's going to raise the taxes by X, and it was a 20% or something. So, which is fine. People voted for it. The bond was accepted. I wouldn't harp too much on, oh, this year we're going to look really good, but next year you're going to get whacked. So, is it true that taxes are going to start going up in the
Well, we'll have
subsequent?
that
Oh, yeah.
bond, we'll have that
Sure.
bond payment, so it's absolutely true. So somewhere
Right.
we have to reflect that in here, probably.
Right.
Well, and you'll always get the person in the audience that's like, well,
What about the fire, right?
well, you already raised all these funds with my tax
Yes.
dollars.
Well, but not the bonded. the
Yeah.
bonded.
But the bond is a separate vote. I mean, I don't want to get political here, but the bond was a separate
Mhm.
vote. And
Yeah,
mean,
my point here is let's not pat everybody on the back too hard that there will be no tax increase because of this in the coming year, when we know there's gonna be tax increases in future years.
Well, that's a valid point,
That's a good
Jim. I
point.
appreciate that. And but we, you know, and we just have to remind people that the bond for the public works and the fire station were approved by the.
was voted on
Right.
separately.
And that's fine.
Well, that's right at the top. It says fire station and
Right.
000, 100% debt. So,
But it's
What
gonna be,
about
interesting.
actually-
Should we be, I don't know how you want to reflect the fact that there will be cost increase. Or as I said, just don't go overboard saying how. you know,
I hear you're saying, yeah.
Yeah. I think you could just simply say, all of the anticipated costs for next year are either covered by reserves or the bonds.
Or the bond, right, that's a great way of saying it. When actually will property owners see the increase in the property taxes associated with the bond?
So we'll get the bond funds in March. And we can defer principal payment up to 5 years. Select board hasn't decided how they want to handle that yet. So it would be an interest-only payment possibly for 5 years, so.
Hmm.
But I would think that our first payment will be due next fall,
So next fiscal year.
yes.
whatever it is.
Which is the 26, 27.
When do property tax bills go out? Are they-
So that's the budget we're working on now, and they'll go out in July.
So the,
We're gonna have to somewhere put in for that kind of payment.
It's interesting because the voters voted on it. I think what could happen is they vote on the annual operating budget, and then when we have the numbers for the bond, it'll get added in when the select board approves the annual municipal tax rate. So when they're voting on their annual budget, they won't necessarily know what the total impact is. But we won't know either.
Well, we can do that.
We can project.
But
We
that
could do the
decision-
worst case, you know,
The decision is still predicated upon whether the select board delays, does interest only or.
for 5 years, yeah. And, you know, if they're gonna, they originally talked of doing 20 years, but there was a lot of pushback about going to 30-year.
Yeah,
And I don't know if they've changed their mind on that. They haven't had that discussion. It also will depend on interest rates, which will come out in February of what the bond rate is locked in at.
they have to go back up to the voters to go from 20 to 30?
No,
Wasn't the bond vote predicated on a 20-year prepayment?
nope.
And you have to pick numbers to present and what if.
Yeah,
it's
interesting.
Not,
So it was presented, the information we put out there was based on a 20-year.
This is,
But the-
this will go up for a $400,000 property by whatever it was, I can't remember, $2,500 or something like that.
Right, but the actual vote was, do you approve this, you know, the town to bond up to
This
4.5? Yes,
Yeah.
and not
didn't-
for any
didn't put
terms.
time.
There were no terms of the loan. So they all still have to be decided. They're waiting right now to, it's going out to bid next week, 2 weeks?
Mhm.
The bid documents, it's going out to bid and we'll have true construction costs by the end of November.
Hmm.
And then we'll know what we're gonna need to borrow.
Yeah.
So. So, but as far as, I don't know how you wanna handle it. It's a good point, Jim.
I think what Jim just said at the end there is that we just say that, projects are being funded by either reserve capital funds or, newly approved bond debt.
For the coming budget year,
For the coming budget year, yeah.
period. Yep, I think that works. If people want to ask questions, then we can get into it.
Thousand for the water too.
All right.
I don't know, if like I didn't finish this or.
Well, we weren't, you
Um,
just got a bunch of budget information in.
If the 25,000 for the water, that we give an appropriation to the water department of $25,000 every year, and that,
Not that,
that should probably go in there. And so we'll take the 5 out for the restoration fund, because that's not a transfer, that's just revenue we receive. And I'll put the 25 in for the enterprise fund.
Maybe we should put things up on a big board at the office more often, maybe it looks
See it
different
like-
and big.
you stare at the thing.
Um, Ready for the next one?
Yep.
Yeah. So this is really the last slide with data.
And any decision about the fire station? Or just leave it as,
What do you think?
I think I'd take that out.
Especially if it's gonna be zeroed out.
It's definitely gonna be zeroed out, and we keep getting bills for. And that's the plan, to have it zero by the end of the year.
The one question just pops in my head, I don't know if anyone else wants to think about this, but I would be interested to see. Let me just say what I want to say first, I'm gonna call. It'd be interesting to see another column showing what's gonna come out of it in this projected
Mm.
budget. And then what the remaining balance is. But then that begs the question, how are these funds funded on an annual basis? Like what goes into them? Is there gonna be more money going into these during this current year? Presumably, yes.
So then where do you stop?
Right, so I
So-
think I just answered my
Yeah.
question, just leave it where it is.
Even the water reserve is gonna change, right?
Yeah, that changes. I mean, we have almost $1 million out just in reimbursements that we're waiting for, that's gonna.
That might
flip
be,
that
that's the
around.
bank can't stand today.
Exactly,
That'd be-
that's where it stands today, but these things are moving, like especially the water is, yeah, crazy. Every week, it's something different.
so this
And
is
the
really
North
only a
Station too.
snapshot in time, and
It's
by the time
snapshot, yes,
November 3rd rolls around, these numbers could be different.
yes.
So what's the forgive me, what's the value of this, having this slide up?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
had made
know.
a note in one of the meetings, we talked about somebody wanted to know what the reserves, I thought, well, that might be a good thing to tell people. But it,
So
Unless you're gonna-
to keep creating one account, right? I mean, it's.
Right, but then again, if you don't wanna have to answer a bunch of questions, well, is, like, how is it funded, how much is gonna go in each year? Maybe it is better to take it out.
Give some back to us, yeah.
Is there a way to have this slide hidden somewhere and you can pull it up if someone asks?
I think there is. I think in PowerPoint you can hide slide and then if we
Yeah.
wanna.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, we'll do that.
all right, so I'll take the fire station out.
And then hide this capital.
Okay, and then hide the slide. Okay,
We got a typo to fix and you have
Yeah,
some
typo.
numbers to update.
yeah.
Okay, and then we have.
A good picture.
Yeah.
So that's
pretty
the water
blue.
line.
Only ask questions about the water. the new water. Questions
Limit
about
to
that
that
pipe in the
section
ground?
only.
No.
That's going to the water tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it from the water tank shot north?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Nice.
Next year, all the pictures will be of the new fire station.
It'll go
Okay.
to, yeah, it's going to Station Road.
Okay, looks great,
Huh?
so
Thank you.
we're to appoint a presenter.
Did you have any more comments, Jim, before we?
No, I'm good, thanks.
This is for Monday the third, correct?
November 3rd, yeah.
And are you gonna be the thing?
My father-in-law is very ill. I could be called back to New Jersey really at any time.
Okay,
So
Are you-
I'm planning on being here,
Yeah.
but
and Jerry, you gonna be here?
I'm in Hanover.
And you won't be, right? I
I'm in Iowa.
mean, the
I,
select board do
I
that.
plan to be down
You
You
plan
do?
to be down, Jim?
on the 3rd, yep.
It'd be
I'll
okay
stay.
giving a, sort of leading the presentation on this?
Sure, as long
I
as I
think- I
have a
think you-
chance to run through it somewhere on Monday. Can I come into the office and run through it on Monday?
Sure.
I think my suggestion would be to keep as high level as possible. I mean, well, there's a lot of detail here, obviously, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't get down too much in the weeds, particularly if Frank is not here either. You know, like if people have questions about the model, like you're certainly, you know, in tune with how that model works, but
Yeah.
you know, I'd leave it up to you in terms of the amount of detail you want to get into.
Okay, yeah.
And then if
Oh.
Frank is here, he can be a backup as necessary.
And Jim, do you want to run through it this coming Monday, the 27th or the November 3rd?
Oh, no, the November 3rd.
Okay, we'll definitely
Yeah,
have it updated by then. I will email it to you in advance of that. so
Yeah,
that-
yeah, so I can kind of look at it, make sure I know what's in each box and then, yeah, I just kind of like to, it's almost like a dress rehearsal.
Yeah, I hear that.
Well, thank you, Jim. Appreciate that.
my plan is to be here, Jim, so.
Great, appreciate
But
that,
if you're
Frank.
not, we need to have it. Yeah, nailed down.
I'm pretty sure Pat could be here too. So-
Great. All right, any other questions regarding the public hearing? Thank you, Lisa, and Clint, for your work and.
Oh,
Oh my God, Lisa, you're right. She saw this and ran to get her glasses.
All right, item number five, hazard mitigation plan action items.
Let's see if I can bring that up.
Review information from emergency management committee.
So this is, let me share it. But this is what was used by our consultant, Seam Solutions, to gather information from the Hazard Mitigation Planning Committee that was then used to populate what Lisa presented to us, the action plans, and Pat was the one who was like, this doesn't have enough information. Let's see if we can get more. I didn't find that this had a lot more. I don't know if it's, I didn't get a chance to talk to the consultant, so I don't know if it's designed to be this high level. But the long and the short of it is there really isn't more information about costs that I think we hoped for.
Yeah, they're all,
Easier to
the
see on the
ones that do
screen.
the cost thing is a one, which just means they're less than $50,000.
Yes, and I think that's because, you know, she's trying to help us identify things that need to be mitigated. It's really up to us as a town to decide how, which will in turn determine costs. So she's put this plan together, and I think what's supposed to happen, the Hazard Mitigation Committee meets quarterly. They review this and say, okay, 2026, we're supposed to partner with V-Trans to identify problem snow areas. Public Works is in charge with that, go. And then he would have to develop a process and tell
Mhm.
whoever helps him with his budget what he needs. This is how I'm envisioning.
Then if there's anything that's meets the definition of
Capital.
a capital improvement.
Yes.
That would have to come through this one.
Yes. So, and this might tie into something Angie requested be on this agenda, the number. Where is it?
8.
8, yes. And perhaps if we come up with revised instructions or a process for outreach or training, we can make sure that anybody who might be involved with hazard mitigation, some kind of a reminder, be thinking about capital projects.
Because honestly, I don't think I sent it to the hazard mitigation.
No, I don't-
Yeah.
I
no,
didn't-
we
I never heard. Yeah.
I didn't realize they were doing this kind
Well,
of
and look at
thing.
this, I don't think they will be. I think their goal is to keep it moving. So we're literally, they'd be like, okay, this year we have to tackle this. Public Works, you're in charge, report back when you get this done. Like, I don't think hazard mitigation is going to be coordinating, kind of like how we don't want to be managing projects, but they're also realizing that they need to keep the town moving forward in some of these. It's,
In some cases, it's gonna require maybe additional funds from the town, and
Right.
the select board has to make the decision whether or not they wanna fund it or not.
Because it's great, capital related, visible improvements. Capital Works lead treasurer to use, do you see
It's
this?
almost like I'm wondering if collaboration needs to be
That's
between
me.
the hazard mitigation committee and the respective committees and departments of the town.
yeah, no, I think that's completely what I envision. I mean, part of the issue is we've had a hazard mitigation plan, but it was treated like a checkbox to make sure we got FEMA funds. So we created one, initial one, and it sat there for 5 years and nobody did anything with it. And our current emergency management director doesn't want that to happen again, so she's asked for their committee to be a standing committee. They weren't before. She still needs to get in a full roster of people on that committee. So they're not even fully functioning yet. They were formed as a subcommittee to redraft this second version of the plan. And now they need to form as a true committee, and she's got to get a schedule together. So they're kind of like what we've been doing the past 2 years. They're figuring it out.
There's some good things on here though, like, yeah.
And it could all be for now if we don't see anything.
Yeah, but at least.
At least identify what needs to be done.
Planning and working on mitigation, so that's a good.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah.
think the big, I don't know how you want to say it, but everybody's saying they're plan for there not being FEMA funds. That's what they're telling every town right now. They're telling, come up with capital improvement plans, come up with your hazard, like get a plan in place, because don't depend on FEMA to come in and save the day. It's just not gonna happen. So.
All right, anyone have any questions on this? All right, thanks for that update.
So I guess we'll maybe address it again. See what's when we do the appendix Ds for next
Yeah, I
year.
think it also is going to depend upon how organized this committee gets prior to that time also.
Okay,
Maybe at a minimum, if they can't get sort of off the ground, maybe at a minimum, what they could do is they could just provide to the respective committee or department of jurisdiction that these are the items and go forth and multiply.
Yeah, at the very least, communication
Yeah,
that you're in here.
Right,
Yeah.
so that there's an awareness of the different items on the plan.
Can you tell me who the emergency management office
Director,
director?
Brandy Latimer.
Got it.
All right, anything else on that? Okay, let's move on to review of unfunded projects. The Parks and Rec Committee at their meeting last week voted to send a message to the town indicating to remove the Pilots Point Boardwalk project that they had initially included in their capital improvement plan. But the committee decided to withdraw that, given one, the cost, but also two, just some of the concerns about the current boardwalk and a state designated wetland. So what they're gonna do is there's a few members of the committee are gonna meet out in that area and do a walkabout and try and see if there's a alternate area for putting a path, which would be outside of the wetland, state designated wetland. So that's, you know, if they come up with something, they determine that they need or want some additional funding, they'll come back to us next year or the year after. But for the time being, it's off the books, off the table.
Thank you.
The radar speed sign update, where's that?
The select board's still trying to decide which signs they want and how they want to move forward and whether or not to wait and go for grants in the spring. So at the last select board meeting, they asked to leave the $15,000 in the CIP because they're just not
Yep.
sure what they're gonna do yet.
Correct.
So,
Thank you. Any questions on that? Okay, I noticed on a town report. I see you included the copy of all the submitted lots.
yep, and Terry did this. So we no longer have Terry, so I think the real thing is, who wants to tackle this year's?
I can take it, I can take it.
Okay, do you want me to send you this word, or do you want to start from scratch, or?
Word would be good.
Okay.
What does it do?
December 23rd.
So what I'll do is, prior to the next meeting, we'll draft something and get it back to you, stipulate, so we'll, that's for the folks on the committee, and then we can take it from there.
Thank you.
But just to clarify, we're in, we have two bullet items, the CIP county report budgets for 25-26, and then the CIP report.
Oh, I think last time we had quite a bit of discussion as to what was actually included in the town report, so I just wanted you to see what was in there from this committee, and, so the report is what needs to be drafted, but then of course we'll include, well, I guess, oh no, you're right, Jim. I'm looking at Jim, so I'm saying Jim, but I'm trying to say, I think I was going to request that we confirm what we wanted in there from a financial perspective. Because it's different. Last year it was our first year, so we had 2 annual budgets. And I didn't know what we wanted this year. And we don't have to decide that tonight. If we want to maybe compare it with your draft report. But we have more financial data available this year now that we're our second year in. And potentially more feedback from the public as to what they might want to see.
You said last year we included 2 different years.
Yeah, so page 3. This is the,
Oh, this one right here.
yeah, so that was the finance, so we had a town report, or like we had a narrative, that was
Yeah.
one page. And then we had a second page that had the
These
annual
two
budget,
charts, yeah.
yeah. And so we could just put in, our current annual budget. It would be,
On the slide, you mean,
Yes.
the fiscal 27,
mhm,
and just do 1 year,
yep,
the upcoming year.
yeah, I think. We had 2 years last year, because it was our first year, and we were trying to, so I don't think we'll ever have 2 years over again.
I'm fine with that suggestion, what other people think?
It's a good reference place too, to have just the
One.
budget, one, rather than be confused by 26,
Well, the purpose
27,
of the
27,
town
28,
report
right,
Is for the upcoming
Sure.
annual operating
right,
budget.
makes sense,
So I think the 5-year plan might be overkill.
yes.
And
The 5-year plan would be too small to even
so
read,
No,
right?
1 year,
You'd have to take over several
perfect.
pages, and I just think it's too much.
Yep.
So
1 year.
they can always, I think if you put in your thing, you can go to the website and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
Put all that stuff on the website if they wanted more information.
Jim, any comments on that?
Nope, I'm good, thanks.
Is there a limit for each department?
I Yeah,
Isn't it previously, I remember. that?
yeah, ideally, it's one page. So,
Like one front and back, or like,
nope, just one page. And I've gotten a lot of
Single
pushback
spaced?
from some committees because like Parks and Rec would easily do 6 pages every year. And we get charged per page by our printer. We have a contract that only allows so many pages. But like water, I usually give 2 pages. I think this committee definitely should get 2 pages. It's part of our planning on our annual operating expenses.
well, I think for the time being, we should just plan to do just the 1 year as we just discussed.
Okay.
Okay. Item number 8, project submission process, outreach
Yeah.
for consistent completion of appendix D.
This is and I'm really sorry that I didn't notice it until we were sitting in the,
Lisa and I were talking this morning. I was like, I should email Angie. I'm sorry I didn't, but so you could be more prepared, but
it's all right, I wasn't, but.
this is gonna be an ongoing thing, I think, though, so.
No, I think it's just part of the development. I mean, the tool is exceptional. It's just that there are little nuances when you take it out to human, when humans have to make some of the determinations, right? And I was sitting there thinking, how did and this is very parochial, how did the library's 1979 last replaced carpet get a lower ranking in replacement than I don't even know what the other one was?
Community hall,
Okay.
carpet, the exact same thing, carpet. They're gonna replace the carpet.
That was just, it isn't, I don't know how old that carpet is, but it's,
Well, it's been here for a while.
yeah.
Uh,
But 1979 is a long time. And it wasn't a small amount. So there were 2 different choices that were made. I think the library took, kind of a environmental hazard, mold and something else. and
Safety,
Safety. And I don't know what the other one was related to.
maintenance.
Maintenance. And then I thought, that drove me to think, well, maintenance versus safety, how did safety get ranked lower?
There was grants.
See-
When we drove deeper into the ranking
Yeah,
model,
right.
and we found out because of the community hall has the room, the foundation.
That's what
Pays
picked
for
it.
half.
And there's a weight, so I think your point was we should notify the committees that this is how the ranking works.
Yes.
So if you do really have a priority project that is safety-based and has to happen, they may need to let us know, perhaps, I don't know if we can work around the model, or if we
I
need to
just
just.
notated in the comments, and if I would have even thought of that, I would have maybe made provided some more information.
Or
but
encourage them to say
Do
it,
something different.
like if,
It's something else just no, I lost it. I'm so sorry, 'cause I was listening.
But your point,
Where-
Corinne, is also, is that but the other factor is if you don't have money for it. Because then you have money for it, like in the case of the grant of the community foundation.
But
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna say, so there was money for it, came out of the library capital
Capital.
fund, right? So that should be kind of a zeroed out. And someone made a comment that should encourage people to go after grants. But then our real thought is, okay, that's a good thing, but if you get ranked higher because you are lucky enough to get a grant for something and that kicks out somebody else that really needs a safety issue, that.
or liability.
But it just triggered I mean, nothing's wrong with this stuff, but it could happen in our future, and I just wanted to get it out there to think
I think
about.
I would propose some changes for next year as far as the sheets go, the appendix D. Just to, make sure that that we put on here, maybe we only give them, maybe there's a list of 5 reasons, but say, but no more than 2. So at least everybody's working on the same number of items, right? So at least there's not more value being given to somebody who only put 1, and so a group who put 3, right? Because they're getting more points associated with that. So make sure that everybody gets on the same
Makes
yeah,
sense. Whatever you think.
submission
Yeah.
process. And this is what we're learning, right? I mean, we're
Right, I
finding
was
out,
struck, yeah.
what the holes in the model are, but, that's certainly one thing I would propose is to, whether we sit with them and tell them how it is scored. Right, and not to tell them how to game it, right? but
That's what I don't
to
want
explain it
right,
and,
that'd be bad.
I'm trying to take away the gaming, right? So I'm trying to,
Yeah.
compress it,
That's good.
right? Compress it to, you can't have more than 2 reasons and, maybe we can, maybe I can do a waterfall where, we always have to pick one thing in the right order. Right? And I can put some logic in that,
Thank you.
changes the drop down choice or something, or at least that's the way, it's loaded, but,
Thank you, Frank. That's awesome.
Because I thought it might encourage more saving and or grant hunting, you're right, Angie, I'd forgotten that they'd already saved for it and they still ranked like 10 spots lower, but you don't want gamification.
No, you don't. That's what I'm
So,
trying to avoid.
I was thinking that we might want to educate them how it works, whereas I think you're right, it may be better to actually just tweak the model.
I think
Just put
so.
some tighter guardrails around the
I think
system,
so.
right?
Yeah.
Make sure that we, I'll keep thinking about it, but
Yeah.
I think
But-
that will help.
Thank you, Frank.
You had a good point too, though. We were talking about things committees might need to know. What was it, the ranking? Projects, people submitted, like departments did one for all of them, whereas
Oh.
what we were,
Looking for was their priority in the department, like library put one for everything. That was their number one priority, for all 5 of their things, so
Yeah.
that they had to rank them within their department too, of what was most important.
So that's another question. I think they did that. I don't know, but I think it probably happened because it's not all happening in the same year. And so they said, well, this is, I think this was their interpretation, I'm just guessing. So the first thing they want, number one, they want to do one thing, they want to do the carpet this year. That's the most important thing. That's what they're spending the money on. They wouldn't have spent the money on the shed if they wouldn't have gotten the grant, right?
yeah,
Next year, the most important thing is the,
Outdoor refresh.
it's the entryway.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the number one. They're only asking for one thing a year. I think that's how they took it, not,
Mhm.
I have three capital
So
projects.
five-
I'm ranking them
okay.
1 through 3.
And each one is ranked one for
Yeah,
that year.
For that year.
Huh.
But I think the more you can leave out of interpretation and within the model, the better we are, because they're doing this once a year and they're not really getting it's.
So Lisa also suggested that we have the ability to tweak the instructions for the project D-submission
Mhm.
form.
Maybe
So
that's
that's-
what we need to do.
Yeah,
Well, once he sets up the grant, once you.
Yeah, yeah.
You can do
the
whatever, but-
narrative that we put together, they should all read that, so that
Right.
tells you how the model works.
That's all you need.
But I'm also happy to do a tutorial, have one night where one person from every committee can come and I'll walk them through it, and that's fine too. How it really works.
Yeah.
So they know what they're trying to solve to,
mhm.
but I think tightening up the Schedule D a little bit as it translates to the models is worth a worthwhile exercise.
Cause it's really a diverse group of people and committees and, yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Frank.
So what do we want to take away from this? Do we want to set a calendar reminder for the month before we do project submissions to review the instructions? Do we want to? This needs to be an agenda item for the next 6 months.
I
Is that-
want to think about it too, and think
Okay.
about the numbers and how,
Come
That
back
can
when
be
you're ready.
represented.
Yeah,
Okay,
and come back with this, proposal.
thank you.
Any other questions on it? Jim, you have any comments on that?
Nope, good, thanks.
Thank you. Timeline review and determine next steps.
It's the same.
Something I'm thinking about, and this is maybe related to the item we just discussed off the word. Currently know what the next, not this, only one year that we're doing, but the year after. We sort of have a list already of projects that we're aware of that year. I'm wondering if, it's worthwhile to think about some sort of process for the, early on for the respective departments, maybe even earlier than we've done today, and just ask some of these still, maybe not just for 1 year out, but are there any changes? I guess maybe we already do that. Are there any changes to what you already indicated to us for the 4 or 5 year past? No, I'm talking a lot. I think you probably already do this, but so that we have a very, as early of awareness as possible of any changes, including any additions. I don't know if there's a way to, I don't know if there's value in knowing that, or particularly if something, where they don't have money for it. Like the earlier the town is aware of something that's 2 or 3 years out, that's chances are, if it's a safety issue or something that's a must do, is it possible that the town more advanced notice of those things so we can start planning for it? Like right now, we're sort of just focused on this 1 year, but we're really talking about stuff that's out there. But if for things that are likely to need to be done, but for which there is no money currently, I know, is the town interested in knowing that?
Yeah, I mean, this is our ultimate goal, and I think the more years that we do this, and the more that the boards understand the ramifications of being involved in the plan, like especially the ranking model, that there'll be more desire to plan so that there's more time to save, so that you rank better. And I think eventually we'll have people coming to us for things that might be 10 years out, and the plan might organically grow. I think 10 years is a little more common. We thought 5 was enough to start with. I don't know that we want to push that. I mean, we had the fire chief reach out to us just this week, and it's like, hey, my fire trucks aren't here. Where are they? We're like, well, did you tell us? So it's just gonna take a while, I think, for everybody to kind of get in the groove. Like, I think Parks and Rec learned a lot this year.
Yeah,
And library's been really exemplary in this extra meetings and the.
Well, 10,000 at a time, right?
Yeah, but, I think we're headed in that direction.
okay.
So I'm going to draft, so we can use the presentation on November 3rd to get some of these points out there for people to start thinking about. So between now and then, I'm going to think of points, things that we want to kind of start to educate and float out there. Like, you know, the sooner you let us know about projects, I think it was at the select board meeting where we said, you know, better to, if you see something coming 5 years out, better to increase taxes 2% a year for 5 years than whack it 10% in year 5. So,
Right.
you know, I'll try and come up with things like that we want to include in the presentation for people to think about. And I'll ask you to do the same thing as to, okay, what are the points that we want to get across, and helping to educate the public as to, well, why are we doing this?
That's
To
a
avoid
great-
Yeah, that's a
surprises.
great idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great idea.
So
Okay.
I'll get a few rolling and I'll throw it out to everybody and then ask for your input.
Because the select board, I think, didn't you say they asked somebody from every committee to be there?
Mhm.
So there's supposed to be somebody from every board and commission and whatever to be at the meeting, so that's a great way to get the word out to all of them.
Well, they asked for people who had projects in the plan, so it wasn't a blanket wide request,
For the
but,
upcoming year or in the plan going out?
I can't remember how I interpreted their request. I'd have to go back to the email. I think I
Maybe.
sent the whole plan.
Did you send it to every board?
No, I looked, well,
Cause maybe we should invite every board.
Yeah.
Just send it out and say, you
maybe
know.
we should.
Just
we're
a
doing
reminder.
this. Yeah, as a reminder, learn more about.
Well, not to throw the fire department under the bus, but that's a perfect example of why people need to be thinking down the road. I'm sorry. that's a perfect-
Well,
sorry.
and now that
Exactly.
Well, now that I think about it, I think we had gone to him with an inventory. And one of the lines was year needs to be replaced. So I think he thought he'd done that. And hadn't quite closed the loop that, oh no, there's also this annual submission process, although we send it to him. But so
Hmm.
this is what I
So
mean
he's
about
halfway
it
there, yeah.
being learning process, it being, oh yeah, we pulled it up and we're like, oh yeah, to be determined is in some of these, and they must have determined.
Well, that's a good point, though, just that inventory that was created initially as part of this whole process. I'm assuming that's being updated every year, but that might be something worthwhile to throw back out at people.
It goes out with the submission Ds,
Yeah, it does.
right? Yeah, here's your,
Thinking like a couple times a year, just to get
Oh.
in the sort of the forefront, so to speak.
Yeah, here's something is that when I was a new board member, I couldn't figure out how you got things approved to save my life, and I'm still working through some of that stuff, right? But I don't know if there's. You know, and so I was sort of worried about, you know, we go to Kara and she'd say, she'd talk to you guys, but we weren't really in sync with all of that. And I don't think it's for lack of wanting to be, it was just a lot of people really didn't know where to look or to do it. And it brings up the point where at some place, you know, if you, you know, kind of capital project primer, or something like that, that might, I'm just throwing this out, might say, if your committee, if your entity, if your, you know, once is gonna need capital in the next how many years, here are the steps you need to take. in addition to all the forms, because when the forms come at you, they're like, I mean, it's a little bit of a waterfall for people. Because of the deadline and stuff, but thinking about what's your jobs in the meantime? It's not just around the. But like, so for the, I don't know, I'll stop there, but I'm making my point very clearly, but like for the fire department, yeah, we need fire trucks, but to do that, it's not just, saying we need them and putting them on the list. I have to do these 3 steps to get it to this. I don't know where we see that. We see it in the forms when you send them out, but there's not another place. If I was the fire, if I was the head of the water department, I just wanted to think about my capital plan. I could just go and say, where do I get those steps? They're
is
easy to find.
that kind of information on the website? Like the steps?
I'm sorry
how
to-
to-
I don't think so. It's pretty broad, like high arching, like this
Yeah.
is where you see the 5-year plan. These are this year's submissions, these, this is our rules and procedure, this is the
Like, yeah,
dice.
here's how you
This is
start it.
how often we meet, here are the board members. It's not really,
Private education, bring everybody onto the same, like a level playing field all the
that's,
time.
one of the things I've been grappling with for 2 years now, and I haven't come up with a good solution, is how every year around March, April, there's a turnover, and there's a bit of a process I go through that I call onboarding, but it's, for volunteers. And I've been trying to figure out a consistent way to make sure everybody's on the same page for knowing where policies are, what the open meeting law requirements are, what the ethics requirements are,
Yeah, no,
how the town email works.
Yeah.
Like, and this would be a great thing to add to that, it could even be like 3 bullet points. We have a CIP.
Yeah.
If you want.
Even just a
But-
place I could click on the webs page, if I'm someone that has a full-time job somewhere else doing lots of stuff, but I only have this responsibility as a.
Well, what I'm
So
thinking
think about where
here,
it was.
listening to you is perhaps like the last thing I tried was when I had a new board member, I had put together a packet and I sent an email and it listed off all the like takeaway tasks. And the guy came in, he said, I don't think I want to do this anymore. It's like.
You get it, there's a line there, isn't it? I know.
They're really good.
That's what I was just thinking about, a place where you can get this information, because I know I have to meet with the person that's gonna represent the
Yeah.
library, but we've talked about this so much, but still, you gotta go over it again so they really
Maybe
connect all the dots.
The first meeting of after each reorg annual election cycle, there should be like a checklist for each board. Like remind your board that there are policies on the website, remind your board that there's a CIP, and hand out the process. You don't have to read it in the meeting, but.
No, but someday,
Yeah.
we could just click on a thing that says here that if you have a capital project you want to submit as a board, if it's under a board section.
Oh, we
like
can
that.
do that in like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
if
and
we
just
get
say,
back.
here it is.
Inventory list and
That's right.
every
I mean,
year, a
that's
couple
right.
times a year.
I mean, someplace
See
where all
what's-
this,
Reconcile it to the plan
exactly,
to see what they've, like.
yeah,
the
what
fire
you're saying.
trucks.
Yeah.
Someplace where this is kind of easily accessible, but you can get lost. I mean, you guys don't know how you manage all the data you have, but I can get lost in it pretty easily.
Well, we get
between-
lost.
Yeah.
We get lost.
So I think that's a good plan, I remember when I worked for the state, we would sit around and have these conversations about like how much information is too much information and how frequently is too frequently. And we always came back, because it's like, it depends upon if you're going to do with the legislature or some other body, but in terms of your customers, like, you can almost not have it to be too frequent.
Yeah,
Repetition.
Particularly
yeah,
where.
if you think you
it's all
communicate enough, do it
volunteers
again.
On
yeah.
many of these committees, and so you're focused on it for 15 minutes at one meeting, in March or April,
Mhm.
and then it's gone.
Right.
So you don't think about it until that next rolls around again a year later, so for some of these things. Like the inventory or, the funding request type things. For something you get the select board, wanting to know what's out more than the year in front of them. Those I think are like at the top of my list.
I see that happening frankly all the time. Just what you described, that we're engaged, we get it, and then it gets lost because something else comes
Yeah.
up. And it's just,
So we can talk more about that. I don't think, maybe that's
Yeah.
what the.
No.
I see we're at 6:30. I'm sure people.
That was a great suggestion from Jim, though, like, we're gonna have a captive audience.
Yeah.
I think I will, do we want to do a front forum post for this?
Invite for the
Uh,
hearing?
For the hearing?
Just, yeah.
I mean, planning
Yeah, yeah.
commission did one for the recent hearing that happened, and it isn't normal. Like, we do the agendas and website postings. I think Jim did a front forum posting the last time.
yeah, he did, he wrote a little.
All
Yeah.
right.
I think I would suggest if, it doesn't have to be very detailed, but just a notice that, hey, this is happening.
There's an opportunity.
Do you want me to see what I wrote last year and just do it again?
Sure. Yeah, I think it's just a little more powerful when it comes from a board member. It's a community member saying, hey.
Yeah.
Um,
Send myself a note.
Thank you, Jim, for doing that. Going back to the timeline review, is there anything else we need to talk about at this point in terms of the timeline? I think we're all hoping that we only need to do the one public hearing.
Yeah,
And the only thing that would potentially change that would be if we have to make any changes to the existing plan as presented, right?
Yep.
that would be it.
Thank you.
Okay, Jim, anything from you on the timeline?
Sorry?
Anything from you regarding the timeline
Nope.
process? or
Nope,
review?
I'm good.
Okay. We had appendix G on here.
That's the.
That's the
timeline,
Yeah.
Item number 10, future agenda items. So the public hearing is gonna be on the 3rd. Our next meeting is.
Well, that's my other Thanksgiving.
Oh, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
We didn't do it last year, right?
We moved- Either moved it or did something different.
Did we move it or we not have it?
That's the question. We don't have to have a meeting to have one.
Well, Corinne, you're gone.
Yeah,
You're going when?
let's see, the 24th or the 28th.
Oh, yeah, so I'm wondering,
So that's that week.
let's think this through for a minute.
Do we need one?
If. The only reason we might possibly need them would be if there has to be a change or another public hearing, correct?
Yes.
So maybe we wait to see.
The 3rd.
How the 3rd goes, and if there's no need to meet in November, I would suggest we just not meet. But then the next meeting would be in December, which would be.
It's Christmas Eve.
I, does it make sense to?
Move that somewhere. No?
Well, if we don't need to meet, we don't need to meet. Like,
Yep.
there's no sense in meeting just because
Thank
it's
God.
on the calendar.
Right. So, but I'm going to play this out, but let's assume that we don't meet in November because we don't need to. The next, thing that needs to happen, when they go to
The
the.
town report.
There's a town
town
report.
report,
yeah.
But that needs to be, we could do that,
Offline, right? I mean, that can be done.
If if you
that'd be
could
an
authorize
email,
Mike and I to just get it to done,
but we could also
Right.
circulate, if anybody had any
Michael,
comments, they could just submit them.
that
Yeah.
doesn't meet open meeting law.
No, we can't do that.
unfortunately.
No,
I would certainly feel comfortable in giving you that authority. I didn't say it without laughing.
As
Yeah.
chief or president or
Yeah, it doesn't matter, whatever you get, yeah.
chair or.
So let's play this
President
out
Mike.
then. The next meeting would potentially be in January. And that's really when we would start talking about the following year process in terms of the focusing mostly on the timeline and see if we want to make any changes or looking at the instructions, if we want to make some changes to appendix D, for example, all of that type of information, correct?
yep, and it would be getting ready for the presentation at the March town
Town
meeting.
meeting, yeah.
Yeah,
Which would
That's
probably
a big
be
one.
the same as, if there's no changes.
if there's
it's
no
probably just
changes,
the same.
it's gonna be the same, so.
So
That's fine.
Jim, how are you feeling about potentially not having a meeting in November and December?
I'm in Vietnam. I won't be around.
Oh, well, then that seals the deal, man. right there.
Yeah, I'm gone from November 5th to December 2nd.
It's a wonderful trip.
Did you say Vietnam?
Yeah, 3 weeks in Vietnam and then 5 days in Tokyo.
Wow.
Nice. Well, enjoy that.
Thank you.
So what we'll do is we'll play it by ear. Oh, let me back up. So going back to the town report, is everyone okay with Brandon and I? I'll draft that and send it to Brandon, then we can at least find the comments if she has any comments, and then we just go forward
Absolutely.
with that, okay? And then maybe just an email to the group following the November 3rd with the results of the public
Yeah,
hearing.
We
or-
can discuss agenda building outside of a public meeting, so we could decide as a group whether or not we feel like we need to meet.
Okay.
That makes
Okay,
sense.
yeah, okay, all right.
And then just for some future agenda, whether it's after March or, but before we send out the instructions for next year, we could just circle back and talk about the ways to educate the
Oh,
community.
yeah,
That's like
I
not a,
think
that's
that,
not a,
that could be a
complaint.
January
Yeah, that's not a big.
item also.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Any other comments or questions about future agenda items or dates?
Mr. Chairman, I move we adjourn.
Oh, I have a
Second.
motion to adjourn, a second, all those in
Second.
favor?
I.
Aye, those opposed, any abstentions, meeting adjourned. Thank you
We're
all
all
very
done.
much.
I
Thanks,
thought Mr.
Jim.
President might.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Jim.
everybody. Have a good
Good night.
evening.
We'll see you in a couple
Thanks,
weeks.
Jim.
Jim.
Thank you all very, I said, I